Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fueling Equity. Today is a really special opportunity to have a conversation with someone who has certainly made a big impact in the attempts, the desire to move forward in fueling equity and creating a more equitable society. Well, I've got Thomas W. Dortch with me today, affectionately known as Tommy by his friends. We're going to call him Tommy today. And he has a lot of titles. He's a community activist. He's an entrepreneur. He's a business leader. He's an author. He's a founder. And he's a mentor. And we're going to talk about all of these things, including that he's a father, a grandfather, and a cancer survivor. And as we're coming upon Father's Day, which happens to also be June 19th, Juneteenth. We're going to talk about these subjects and a lot more. But I did want to start by talking a little bit about mentorship. And as it turns out, as Tommy and I were walking up the stairs, we ran into Pedro Cherry. And of course, all of us at Southern Company Gas know Pedro, our CEO of AGL. And as it turns out, Pedro has benefited over the years from being mentored by Tommy. So I just grabbed Pedro and said, hey, why don't you tell us just a little bit about your relationship with Tommy and how his mentorship has helped you?
Okay. First of all, what a surprise to see Tommy. And Kim, you've done some great interviews. I'm biased. This will be your best.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, so Tommy's a great man. First of all, I mean, you mentioned all the things he's done. He's really a Renaissance man. I mean, Tommy's involved in everything. But above that, he's a businessman. He does everything, but probably what stands out is his character. Tommy cares for everybody, wants everybody to be successful. And he gives all his resources, his time, money, whatever it is, he's going to reach out to help somebody. So he's somebody I've always tried to emulate. And as I've gotten to know Tommy better over the years, I said, I need you as a mentor. I want to be around you, somebody I want to learn from, somebody I respect deeply. And he's been, very gracious to do that. There's never been a time when I haven't called, a text, an email, he hasn't responded, or he'll just send me something I need to know or something I need to be involved in. So, I've had some success in life, but a lot of it's attributed to Tommy and what he's done for me, and not only me, for many others. I mean, they say you want to be respected the most by people who know you the best. If you talk to anybody who knows Tommy well, they all respect and love him just like he does us.
Oh, that is so awesome. Well, thank you very much, Pedro, for talking a little bit about how Tommy's mentorship has helped you. And I think just for everybody to know, all of us who are in leadership, we all have mentors and people who've helped us along our paths. And so obviously you've been very meaningful to Pedro in his career and to many others, as Pedro mentioned.
Pedro, I appreciate your friendship.
Same here, Tommy. Love you, man. Thanks.
You.
All right. See you guys.
All right. So, Tommy, you're also the national chairman of 100 Black Men of America,
yes.
And you have done that for many years, I know. And at some point, a few years ago, you also wrote a book about mentoring,
yes,
called The Miracles of Mentoring, The Joy of Investing in Others. Can you talk a little bit about what 100 Black Men's focus is, and then what took you to writing a book?
Well, the organization, I got elected in 1994 as a national chair. So when I came in, the challenge we had is that you can imagine in this country when you got positive, successful Black men, everybody was pulling on the organization, pulling on people. And I thought it was important for us to have a solid foundation. I did my undergrad at Fort Valley and then at Georgia State, and a lot of that I had to look at this whole issue about planning and things of that nature. So I took to the board my first meeting as the chair of the board and chair of the national organization, a program called Four for the Future. Everything we do in the organization until this day, from 94 to this day, it has to fall in education, mentoring, health and wellness, or economic empowerment, and we add an overlay of leadership development. Because leadership is everything. You got to have good leaders no matter what you're doing. And so we continued on, and what I decided later after being there and working with some phenomenal men from all over the country and phenomenal young people, we, for example, set a standard. You could not be a chapter in the 100 Black Men of America without a mentoring program. We wanted you in all of the other areas, but mentoring is the key. As I say to members and myself, all of us, we wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for mentors. And so in the Miracles of Mentoring, it chronicled so many great stories about our members in different chapters. For example, Atlanta, there's a young lady, she's an elected official now named Sonia Jelks. We went to Archer High School in Perry Home, which was one of the toughest neighborhoods in this city. We decided we didn't want to go where communities had all support. We went there. Sonia and her other colleagues, at that time, only 43% of the students who started in 8th grade graduated. We started working, we took on an 8th grade class, committed to them, you stay in school and you complete it, we'll pay your cost to go to any college you want to go to. But we created Saturday academies, we moved up the grade level of the whole school because the school saw black men all throughout the school, because usually it's women, and today only 5% of the teachers in the classroom are African American. Mentoring is not a chore, it's a pleasure. And when I walk into places and see young people now who are adults and they call you out, there's no value you can put on that. Right. We have today over 125,000 young people in our mentoring program. We have about 7,000 members who are mentoring, but we have partnerships because we can't find enough mentors, and particularly Black and African American mentors, because the first people to mentor are white females, second white males, then Black females, then Black males. We're trying to reverse that.
So you've got a special trip planned for this Father's Day.
Oh, yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, on my national conference of 100 Black Men runs the 15th of June through the, and wrap up on the night of the 18th. And on the 19th, we will be in Turks and Caicos. I have a chapter I charted there in 2004. The Minister of Health in Turks and Caicos and the Premier, who's a very close friend and a member of the 100 there, they've asked us to do a health summit in the 5 islands. They're starting with Providenciales and Grand Turks and North and South Caicos and one other island. So I'm taking medical doctors from here, some at Morehouse School of Medicine, some from Emory, but they're doctors. I have a health and wellness committee made up of 33 medical doctors, several epidemiologists and all, and about another 10 professions. So we're gonna go do screenings. We're taking about $50,000 worth of equipment over to them. We're taking tests so they can do the antigen rapid test. And we will be walking them through all kinds of new advances in medicine, because Black men all over the world don't take care of their health as much as they should. Mm-hmm. And so we'll be there celebrating, of course, Father's Day and Juneteenth. I'm doing a special session speaking to the men and women and families on fatherhood. And because of Juneteenth, and people don't realize that Juneteenth, even though the Emancipation Proclamation was signed and issued, it took over a year plus for people to realize they've been declared free.
Right.
And if you know the history of this country, and that's why I'm so happy we have the Juneteenth celebration, but we got to educate people.
Right. Maybe just one final question.
Okay.
So Southern Company Gas is very focused on fueling equity, ensuring that, as you said, that we all have equitable access to health care, that we have equitable access to what we need in the community. And certainly from our perspective, it's energy. Energy makes the world a better place. We want to make sure employees feel equitably treated and have equitable opportunity. How can we as a corporation and we as employees help share the word about Juneteenth and share the word about moving our country and our communities forward with respect to fueling equity?
And I'm glad you asked, because I have to say, not because I'm sitting here, because I've seen your praises everywhere. I'm fortunate to live in the city we do, where we have phenomenal corporately responsible corporations. Southern Company, AGL, Georgia Power, and all your entities. I've worked with Alabama Power and all of them. One, diversity and inclusion has been one of your marks for decades. I go back to the late Jim Davis, James K. Davis, when we worked here, when Plant Vogel was coming on, and we worked. And I remember when Jim was promoted as the first African-American vice president in Georgia Power. And when I look at your CEO at Georgia Power and look at your boards and look at all that you've done, you've been a leader, and that's important. I think you do just stay the course. And I want to thank you, too, for the support you've given to the 100 Black Men of America and to our Atlanta chapter for us to, with our grant, to include several chapters to deal with violence in our community and what we're doing there and the other support. But I think continue to spread the word. We're always looking for corporations whose employees will be willing to volunteer. And that's another way of showing your commitment. You've done it, and you have a lot of your folks who are engaged. We've had 2 presidents of the Atlanta chapter to come out of the corporation. So I think, one, continue to do that. In addition to investing, and you do invest, thank you for the Propel Center. I'm a trustee at Clark Atlanta University. That's a phenomenal center that's going to go, and it's for all HBCUs. Right. Keep supporting HBCUs. You came out with that because those organizations were there when nobody else would accept us, and still there now, helping young people get up to where they should be. So keep spreading the word. Any kind of publications and all that you have, just know that we'll do links to any site that you want from the 100 Black Men of America or from the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Foundation. We'll keep spreading the word. We love having your team on panels, and I think having them on more and more panels is going to help people, because people do business with people, and they do business with real people, and you have some phenomenal people. You got great talent, and leadership like yourself. Leadership is everything, and so with that, you're an example for the nation. You're an example for others, and as we continue to look at challenges, that's why I gave the $1 million commitment to do my Institute for Social Justice, for economic empowerment, and for civic engagement at Clark Atlanta University. We're going to be bringing young leaders from around the country. We'll be doing institutes, and I'd love to have some of your team actually sitting on panels, working with us to really get there. And then just know, anytime you need me, my organization, we're there, because you're a phenomenal corporate citizen, and that's important.
Thank you so much, Tommy. It was such a privilege to talk with you. Thanks so much for spending time sharing your journey, and particularly for all the wonderful things you've done to help so many men and women and to change our community and our country. Thank you. And thanks to all of you for tuning in for another episode of Fueling Equity. Thanks to all of you who are members of 100 Black Men Across America chapters, either in Illinois or Virginia, Tennessee or Georgia. Thanks for all you do. And happy Father's Day to all of you who will be celebrating Father's Day, and happy Juneteenth. And I look forward to seeing you all again very soon.